Greetings, fellow salt ancestors, and welcome to another video on solo RPGs. Today I bring you the long-awaited, the absolutely amazing, the incredible Koriko, A Magical Year by Jack Harrison. So, spoilers, I guess. I love this game, but you should know that if you watch this channel at all, because it made my top 3 2023 solo RPGs. At the time I made that video, I didn't yet own the physical copy. I had only played the PDF partially, and then I'd stopped playing it because I wanted to experience the rest of the game once I received the book itself. And then I got it, and then I received it, and then I played it, and then I loved it some more. And I guess there should be a proper warning here. There's going to be a lot of gushing. In fact, can you tell here, these are like my excited hands. This is what my hands look like when they're extra excited about a game. Koriko. So in case you haven't heard me talk about Corico before, Corico is a solo design journaling RPG that basically is inspired by Kiki, the delivery service, the Studio Ghibli movie, in which like a young witch travels away from home as part of sort of a ritual of initiation, moves into a new town, and sort of finds herself in the process. So this is a very wholesome, very simple kind of game. It is driven by a dice system, which is very interesting, and we'll circle back to that. This game requires you to have no less than 21 six-sided dice. You don't roll them though, but again, no spoiler. We'll go back to that. And the prompts are established by drawing different kind of prompts from a tarot deck. So this is a tarot deck, and I'll explain sort of how it's sorted out. But let's start with the beginning. Koriko, A Magical Year. So, I just want to gush already. I'm going to keep it together. Okay, Koriko begins on this introduction. Actually, I'm not going to read the whole intro. I've already sort of introduced it. What I'm going to talk about is, I suppose, generally speaking, the production of this game and the attention that they put to the detail. So we have the theme again, which does highlight some things, but it does also say that it's intended to be a lighthearted and tender adventure. So it's more of a fun coming of age and not a grim tale about child endangerment. Because again, you have like a teenager going on their home to explore a new city. We're still looking more like cutesy story here. And then it talks about how it's run by a tarot deck and the dice. And then it talks about how to do a journal, which is very neat. There's more on that in a little bit, as in right here. So first thing that this game does, that no other game that I have seen does, is talk to you about how to structure your journal. A lot of journaling games will say, oh, write an entry, do this, do that. But then, sometimes you kind of need to add information, but then the page is full. The next page already has your next entry, and you don't know how to manage that. This game actually really walks you through like how to journal RPG, I suppose. So it starts with an index, and it's how you're going to structure it. Next one's going to be a map, and that's how you do it. Next one's going to cover your skills, and that's how you do it. And then here's how you're going to do entries and letters and confidence. So as through the game, you'll have, of course, journal entries of things, but you also meet people. And the people you enter in there are going to be sometimes recurring characters into your story. So the first thing this game does in a manner that I have not seen before and extremely well is the journaling. It also talks to you about how to write the prompt. So what is a prompt, how it has suggestions, and how to interpret them, how you'll get them, the fact that you can skip them if they don't work for you. And then again, a note on writing, the kind of writing you'll do. And again, it goes very much in details. Like, if you have to create a journal entry, which is much of what you do, it says just 2 or 3 paragraphs. That's it. Like, you're not detailing like, when I woke up, I stretched myself, and then my hand hit the foot of the bed, and then the bed was too small, and the sun was shining right through the curtains. You can if you want to, but the point is that it really drags down the game. I think by taking the time to say, just imagine all that 100%, but just jot down 2 or 3 paragraphs, that's it, then move on to the next prompt. I think that's great. The other thing that this game has you do, other than sort of entering a daily entry, is to write letters home at the end of each chapter, and that's very cool. Lesson writing is basically just a little line whenever you are learning something new. And it actually does encourage you also to not always tell the truth, either in your journal or in your letter writing. So, you know, it's your game, but if you're embodying a character that perhaps is embarrassed about something that just happened, perhaps she's not telling the whole truth, or they're not telling the whole truth about what's going on. And I thought that was a neat little addition also. And this game, in addition to all of this, walks you very slowly through how to play. So the first chapter you'll play is the departure chapter, which doesn't actually make use of these prompts just yet. This is more like the character creation. So basically, instead of making character creation part of the rules learning, it's part of the play. So they give you an instruction and they'll say create a new journal entry. And then it's very funny too, it says, before we begin, we must break through the curse of perfection by making an intentional mistake. Again, the white page is the worst when you're trying to write. So they'll basically say, just start writing. And then they say, start your bio with, my name is blank. I am a 16-year-old witch in training. And you first see me, you'll probably notice my blank, blank, blank. And then over here, they have different suggestions to how to fill in those blanks. But again, they really do walk you through your very first entry so that we kind of get into the flow, I suppose, of our character while creating them also. Now, this character creation at this point is all flavor. And again, this being a journaling game, it's mostly about narrative more than resolution, but there's no gameplay mechanic to this. You're just creating the person you want to play. Then, you know, you begin your story. I'm writing from the home, and there's a name again, a quiet little village with a name. You know, I grew up with someone, a relation, and they give you options. And, you know, people think I'm trait, but I'm actually trait. You know, like, so it really, again, walks you through different options, and you can slowly build the town you're from, your personality, the people, so you can start imagining your backstory, and all of this is part of the game. That's very neat. And then we have the farewell. So again, this is the kind of game in which you leave home. So the instruction for the farewell. This one has you rolling a six-sided if you want to. You can also pick, which is what I did, because again, for these sort of thing, I think it's more fun to pick. You know, sort of what you want to be. You know, what will you miss most about home? So you make some reflections about what's happening. And then there's an encounter of something that happens. And then you have to like create a little entry about that. After that, we have the take flight. So you say your goodbye, who's there, who's not there, what's happening in your head. A few more prompts for the actual journey. So again, this is all the intro to the game. So this is just your journey, setting the stage. And then you arrive in Corico. So how does your arrival in Corico goes? You know, everything else. And then you have your very first letter, which closes the introductory chapter. And then you write home and you have some prompts here or some inspiring thing of what you can write. After you've done this, the game introduces you to the rest of the mechanic. So again, so we have the very much intro, how to journal, how to create a character, all of that. Then we go into how to play the rest of the game. And it starts with discussing this tarot deck. So if you've never encountered a tarot deck before, it has a major and a minor arcana. So the major arcana is very unique cards. They each have an individual name. They have deep symbolic meaning according to the tarot structure. And the minor arcana is basically 4 suits, which are each number from ace to king. So a bit like a regular deck of cards. The main difference, I would argue, is that they also have a page. So instead of having 3 face cards, they have 4. This game has you sort all of these minor arcana in their own suits. So that's why you can see here, hopefully, my 4 piles. And it has you, according to these instructions here, seed each pile with certain major arcana, which I'm not going to do now because it's kind of complex. But I want you to understand how this works, because at the time of the setup of this, each deck should have at least 1 major arcana on top of them and 1 major arcana somewhere in the pile. And these are relevant because when you're going to draw a major arcana as a prompt, it represents a confidence, so a main character you're going to encounter. The other cards of this deck will be prompts that will be events mostly driven. This will be dealing with a specific person or either meeting them or hanging out with them as it goes. So once that's done, you don't touch these cards again, like you'd have to leave them kind of set up because they're now seated for your adventure. And every chapter going forward will have you indicate when you begin a volume. For example, the next one would be the arrival volume. First, you have the setup, which means you need 2 cards from each suit deck. So you would take 2, 2, 2, 2. Later adventure might say something like, choose one suit and add 3 cards from it, add 4 cards from one other suit and 1 from each. So basically this is how you see your adventure. Each deck of cards has a different sort of tone to it, different kind of adventure. So you can try to skew your prompts toward what you want to have, which I think is very cool. And in addition to drawing these, the confidence that you meet, right here, the confidence you meet as part of your journey, you can choose to include them too. So for example, if this game was ongoing, and I'd already drawn these 2 confident, so I would set them aside at the end of my chapter. And the next time I say, okay, I'm taking 3 cards from this, and I'm taking 1 card from here and 1 card from there, and I can stop here and decide I'll draw prompts from the pile that sets up here in the setup, or I can say, in addition, I'll throw in these, because I'd like to meet these people again on this round of my adventure. And then I would mix them up, but I wouldn't draw more cards. Every chapters, you only end up drawing 7 cards. So basically you draw prompts from different pile. There's always at least 7, usually more, plus the confidence you put into it, you only resolve 7. So it has a bit of a deck building in that you can kind of choose a general tone. You can kind of aim to meet some people. So there's a bit of control in the kind of adventure you're having, but there's also a bit of uncertainty because out of the pile you're creating, you only draw 7. So that is a mechanic that I thought was very cool because again, it does both a bit of control and a bit of unpredictability, and it suits the system very well. So that's how prompts are done. So basically you would reveal a prompt, a Queen of Wands, and then we would go in the different tables here to figure out what these prompts mean. Sorry, I'm still in the consequence. Here we go. Coins, swords. Sorry, I'm in wands. So a Queen of Wands, for example, would be, it's always risky. I'll explain what that means. You're at a cool party. Who invited you? What are you wearing? An urgent problem arises that requires your witchcraft to solve. How do the other guests react when you start to act? So then there's some like ideas here, a tainted buffet, stroopy ghost, fatal portent, monster host. So these are just idea of what would have triggered your need to witchcraft. In addition to this prompt for your next action, you also have to choose one of these squares, which has a other prompt in it, and put them together. So for example, it could be closing doors along with this prompt of needing your witchcraft. Perhaps a door closed and is now locked and everybody's trapped inside, so I have to use my witchcraft to unlock the door, for example. It could be thinning of the veil, so maybe it's a Halloween party and ghosts are seeping in and people are getting scared. So basically a mixture of this, these plot twists, basically these twists with the prompt you drew is how you structure your prompt and the little 2 to 3 paragraph you'll write on what happened. Now the risky is where the dice came in. So not only can the prompt you draw risky, such as this one, which is deemed always risky no matter what, but you also have some that basically if you choose this prompt of closing door is not risky. So if I had drawn a non-risky prompt, I wouldn't have to stack dice. If I'd drawn a non-risky prompt and you decided to use scary story, it would be risky, so I would have to stack dice. And the way that the dice stacking goes is basically based on the amount of lessons you've had. So whenever you stack dice, you can learn a lesson. And if you don't have any lessons in the skill, so this was a, sorry, I guess I should draw from this, the Queen of Wands it usually tells you which kind of skill you need to use to resolve it. So please hold. I'm a bit all over the place. I'm too excited about this game. So always risky. How do you choose to act? Oh, it's always craft or power skill. So maybe I wouldn't have any craft or power skill, so I would have to stack 3 dice to make it work. So if I stack 3 dice, that's usually fairly easy, so that's fine, no problem. I succeed, everything goes well, I can write a lesson. Those stayed stacked though, so next time I do something risky and I need to stack 3 dice, then I stack again. It's going good. But then the next time, not so good. And this is when you can fail at a task. And when your tower collapses like this is when you have to move to consequences. And then you look at the number that shows up most in the stack of fallen dice. In this case, it's a 3. And then you would read the resolution of 3. You pushed things too hard and nearly lost control. What terrible fate did you narrowly avoid? What was broken? The next time you need to add dice to your tower, stack twice as many dice as normal. So you end up with a consequence. And again, more inspiration for what actually happened. So if we circle back to the idea that a door was stuck and I had to use my magic to solve it, then maybe I ended up using a fireball and I completely destroyed the tower. The door, and everybody got really scared. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but I'm really frazzled from this. So this could be an example of that. So that's actually a very interesting. The first time I read this, I was not really sold on it because it just seemed, I don't know, a little gimmicky, a little weird, a little something. But I actually feel like it actually mimics. Okay, it works very well with the team, and I find that in a way it kind of mimics real life, which again is a slice of life type of game in that. In a day, like little stressor add up and then you're pushing yourself and you think everything's okay. And then, eventually it's just the one thing that just goes too far and everything crumbles. The game also says if you ever manage to stack all 21 dice, then something exciting happened. Another cool mechanic is that basically, if the first time you make a row or a column of adjacent twists, you get a bonus, one or the other. You choose the one, just the first time, you resolve it. And that's also another twist to the game. So I guess that's it. You would play through all the seasons of being in Koriko. And then you would end up deciding after that if you are staying or leaving at year's end. And these are just the tables for the prompt. The meeting a main character. So again, drawing a major arcana. It gives you an intro, how you meet them, some inspiration for the characters and all of these things. Tones, that's just like ideas like to fuel your vision of the city. And then should you encounter them again, it gives you some ideas for hangouts that you would do. After 3 hangouts, you get to resolve their crossroads. So that's more of a resolution of sort of that relationship in a way. So I don't want to spoil too much here, but that is Corico. I've already said it's fantastic. I could say it forever. This is one that, okay, if the theme appeals, you owe it to yourself to try it. If you want to try journaling games, you have to try it. This, to me, is the best starter journaling game I have ever played. Just in the way it walks you through. I love the way it's built. I love the way the mechanics support the team. It's just so well done. Like so well done. So if you have a chance to play Corico, I encourage you. I got this, technically through Kickstarter. I got this through Mandy's Kickstarter because Mandy had backed it and I was trying to not back it. And then she mentioned that she had the PDF version. So she said, do you want to review it? And I'm like, I'll send me the PDF. Then she sent me the PDF. I had intention of reviewing it. And then I was like, no, I must own it and then review it because it is that good. Like this is a game that despite being able to play PDF-y, I just needed to own it. It is one of the best solo RPGs I have played ever. It's on my top 3 easily of all time. It's great. And I'm just going to say this. So this is the game. This is all you need, considering if you have tarots and dice. But the game also comes into a box version, which, since I got to piggyback on Mandy's Kickstarter, I asked her to get for me. And the boxed version comes, of course, with the book, some stickers, but they're very cool things. Well, there's very cool things. First of all, it comes with its own dice, which, as you can tell, I don't need. But these are a nice size, because I'll be honest, if you're trying to stack these 20 high, this is just doom. These stack very nicely. They have little stars on them. They're super cute. They're wood. And again, I just find it fits the theme nicely. I mean, they're nice to have. They're cool dice. But more interesting than that even is the cards. This is not a tarot deck. It does have all the cards, but instead of having the minor arcana, it actually gives you the prompt right on the card. So this is incredibly useful for playing. It really streamlines it because it basically has the prompt entry here instead of having to look it up in the book. If you encounter a main character, I'll call it, it gives you the page number. It gives you a quick summary, but you do have to refer to the book for these. Mind you, there's very few of them that you do run into, but that's That's, I think actually it really does simplify play. It's obviously more expensive. Also, do you need it? No. If you love it as much as I do, is it worth doing? Absolutely. Will you do it? That's up to you. But I wanted you to know that it's there, that I find that the value added is there also, if only for those cards with the prompt. You know, again, I didn't need the dice, though I'm happy to have them because now I have a chance in hell of stacking to 21 maybe one day, despite being an extremely clumsy person. And I guess that's it for Corico. So great team, great mechanics, super cool sort of deck building of prompts to sort of control the narrative, maintain element of surprise. The dice stacking is innovative, fits the theme. You know, would it work for a dungeon crawl? Probably not. Does it work here? Absolutely. Yeah, I just have good things to say. So I could keep saying them, but they're gonna just end up being very repetitive. So thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out Koriko. It is so good. You can go. Actually, I think it was nominated for a number of Annie Awards also. You can go check that out. But the point is, I'm not the only one who loves this. This is good. This is good, not just because I say it, because we all know that I've got weird taste. This is just that good that even I think it's good, but other people think it's good. Thanks for watching. Bye.